And we're back with my 80 Coupe de Ville here. In a previous video we discovered that the timing set was completely wasted. We were doing the intake manifold, so really I just wanted to finish out the intake manifold before moving on. And I was kind of considering not doing it, just running the car, and when it broke and it would be time to put a 472 in this. The reality is I really love this car and I love driving it. And for the most part, I don't even think about where I'm going. I just get in and go. It's been solidly reliable since I've owned it. But now that I know this is a problem, I don't trust it. So today, we're biting the bullet and we're going after this thing. So, we're gonna try to cut a couple of corners here. According to the book and most people online, you have to loosen up the oil pan and drop it down a little bit so that you can actually remove the front cover and put the front cover back on. There's a problem with that, with this car specifically. Again, referencing the previous video, whoever worked on this thing before had a love affair or stock or free supply of RTV, because that was used everywhere. And I've done a little poking around, and sure as shit, RTV has been used on the oil pan on this thing. That's not going to be good. So the reality is if I disturb that RTV, it won't seal back up. And we will pretty much guarantee that the oil pan is going to leak. Here's a front cover off of a different engine. And the problem lies in this guy here. That holds the front seal in. Now, I have practiced with this on a different engine, and you can indeed pry this off without loosening up the oil pan. And with a little modification, you can put this back on without removing the oil pan. I have taken and trimmed the sides here so that it'll slip on the front of the block. This is a V8 6.4. It's pretty much the same engine, and the idea is we need to be able to get that in like so. And it's in right now. It's slipped in. You do have to fight it a little bit to crush the seal enough that you can get it over the locating dowels. But other than that, it slipped right in. All I did was nip those corners. We also will probably have to replace this lower seal here. And this is one I've done before. This is an older seal. Nip the corners, stick it in there. I only got one hand. RTV the ends, and then we'll have to put some RTV down here anyway. You would have to do that either way. Another thing I'm hoping to do is to avoid having to pull the oil pump off. I have everything I need to do it, but if I don't have to, I would like to not. It's pretty much a given that you have to remove the oil pump in order to swap this gear out. Again, this is a V8 6.4. It's a fuel injected car with an electric fuel pump in the tank. It doesn't even have a provision for a pump. And if you notice, on the front of the camshaft here, it does not have a fuel pump eccentric. It has a cam button. And what's kind of neat here about this 368 and its cam button is you can slip the gear past the oil pump. So what I'm hoping is all I have to really do is pull the fuel pump eccentric and I can get the gear off. Like I said, we're cutting corners, but I think they're corners that can be cut. So I'm going to do some mundane. Really? The hood stop thing just came off under my hand. So now I'll do some mundane stuff, draining coolant, taking off belts and accessories, and getting down in there. I'm going to remove these braces and then I can take the fan shroud out, and that'll give me a little bit more room. I don't think I actually have to remove the radiator, but I guess I'm willing to if I have to. I just don't want to touch the transmission lines. Nope. Now, one thing we want to make sure we can do before we get too carried away is make sure we can actually thread a bolt into the crank here. And that one doesn't, it only goes in a little bit. Okay, we need to clean those threads up. So on this car is a 9/16 18 thread pitch. That doesn't really want to thread in there. There it goes. And I'm begging you guys, please don't use a tap for this stuff. Get yourself a thread checker, thread chaser. This is a Lang Tools rethreading kit. That's what you're looking for. I'm gonna hose that out. These are kind of like a tap, but what they do instead of cutting new threads is they reprofile the old threads and clean them off. I mean, a tap will work, but you run the risk of gacking up the threads. And kind of like a tap, tighten it, loosen it, tighten it. Every once in a while, take it out, clean it off, but eventually you'll hit a point where it threads in easy. We need to be able to thread in the hub puller. We also need to be able to thread this bolt in there all the way so that we can turn the engine over. All right, so I got that tapped out. And when I got to the bottom, it actually spun the crank, which spins alarmingly easy. Anywho, here's something funny. This car wanted me to work on it. I parked it in this spot so I could do the timing set. And I was waffling on whether or not to do it. When I came out to look at this car to get a feel for it, it was at top dead center number 4, which is dot to dot. So I'm taking that to mean she wants me to work on her. So that is the rotor right there, tip of the rotor. Down here I am just past top dead center. There it goes. That is 14 degrees of slop in that timing chain. Alright. This is stupid. Well, if we come over and look at this is all one bracket. And then it goes through that stud. And it attaches down there. I don't know if I can get a shot of it, but it attaches down there on the motor mount. What a fantastic design, Cadillac. That was fun. That should just come off and make a mess. Now, one thing I can tell is I have to get this stud off of there. You take and you tighten them against each other. And normally, usually, you can just spin out the stud. And that's not working. They are both spinning. All right, I had to go to town and buy grade 8 nuts, but now I got it. There we go. Okay, so now I got my puller set up. We're ready to start taking this off. Now, I measured from the flange to the front cover so that when I put this all back together, I know that it is where we are supposed to be. These can be a bugger, and sometimes they can come right off. Kind of depends on what you got going on. This one appears to come right off. Excellent. A little pop. Oh, we're getting there. It's getting very light. I'm not even holding the other end now. Should be any second now. We're running out of threads. There we go. Oh, boy, that's lovely. Now this will fight us a little bit because we got to get that seal past it, that lip past the seal and everything. Unless somebody has already modified it. Let's get it past. There we go. Now that one doesn't want to go. There it goes. There we go. It's free. Oh my goodness. This car has no choice but to run better after this. My goodness. If you want to know what a really terrible timing chain looks like, that is bad. If you look, see how those teeth are completely wore out? Originally these would have had a nylon gear on them. And that's not really an accurate description. It's an aluminum gear with a nylon coating. And what happens is eventually that over time the nylon wears down, breaks up, that kind of a thing. So in the previous video I mentioned how I was able to lift the timing chain up and off of the gear. That's why. So sad face. So I've marked where the rotor is pointing right now. We are, I believe, dot to dot. Yep. It's like a little, I don't know if you can see it, but there's like a little pointer here and then the dot down there. Like I said, I marked top dead center number 4 because when you're dot to dot, that's top dead center compression stroke number 4. If both your dots are pointing up, that is compression stroke number 1. It looks like somebody has pulled the distributor before because there's like a punch mark that's pointing straight to the passenger side. So we're going to call that good enough. I believe everything's unplugged, so we should be able to just get this out. They can be sticky, or they come right out with no problem. Come on. Why does it not come out? There we go. So, pair of 1/2-inch bolts holding the top timing gear in place, and the lower gear just sits there. It can be a bugger to get out. There's a little one of those lock washers with the teeth. We don't want to lose those. There we go. And now that gear should just come off. It does. Now this is the part, ow, those are sharp as shit. Well, keep that in mind. Now, get the chain off of there and the chain out of the way. Yeah, oh, it comes out, it clears. See, you don't have to pull the oil pump in order to do the timing gear. These lower gears can be a bit of a pain in the ass. I've seen guys have to like use, what do you call it? Like a gear puller on them. I've seen guys hit them with a punch and break them in half. Now what I'm going to do is come in, tap it with a brass hammer. The idea is that'll help release it, right? Shock it a little bit. Oh, I think this one's coming off pretty easy. Does seem like it's coming off though. There is a key, we don't want to lose the key, but it should be pretty well good stuck in the crank. There we go. It's coming now. Come on, baby. Come on. There it goes. Look at those teeth. And if we look right here, those teeth are just about completely wore away to the point where this thing is getting ready to jump time. And here I have the new replacement gear. So knock shit down. And what we want to do, I mean, for one, we can, that's what it should look like. And that's what it does look like. Before and after, right here. So, what we want to do is make sure that the engagement on the bolts will be the same between the gear and the camshaft. And we want to slip them in here, see how much they engage it, and compare it, if I can get them out of the hole, compare it to the new one. They look identical. I'm going to double check this with more than just my eye, and then we will go from there. But that looks good. If these protrude too far out the back side of the camshaft, it will actually grind into the front of the motor. So my goal today is to get all the mechanical back together, get the timing set back in, get the distributor stabbed back in there, get the front cover on in place and torqued down, and the water pump as well. That is my goal for today. Here's to hoping. But it should be well good and doable. That way everything can sit and cure for a day or two while I put the rest of the car back together. And then, yeah, but that is the plan. Cut my finger on the oil slinger real bad, so that was genius. Don't do that. So now it's my favorite part. The part I've been waiting for. I'm going to pull oil on everything here as it's going in, just to kind of make it so it goes in easier. I want to make sure you orient the gear with the dot facing out and up. Brass punch. Just walk around. Get her sighted. Make sure she's in there all the way. Now, when we come to put on the hub is actually what puts pressure on that and keeps it in place. So just keep that in mind. And again, oil pump is in place. Not to say it isn't a good time to rebuild your oil pump, but as you can probably tell, I'm not. Put the chain on and then get it in there. There we go. Line up those dots. Slip the chain in place. There we go. Cleaned up the bolts. Slip this rag back in here. I don't want to drop a bolt. I don't want to drop a bolt down in the motor. That would be a unfortunate happenstance. Does not want to go in. Why do you not want to go in? Oh, we might be slightly askew. What I'm noticing is that we're slightly out of alignment here, and so that does not want to go in. What I ended up doing was running a bolt in here so I could turn the motor over and finagle it around a little bit so that the bolts would go in. Feeling good. Feels like we're going back together. Put the dizzy back in. As the distributor goes in, it'll turn that. So we want to make sure. We also have to line up the oil pump gear. This is way easier on a Cadillac with the front cover off, or the oil pump out. One of the two. So we're gonna guess there. There we go. Perfect. Just gotta spin that oil pump shaft a little bit to get her to drop in. Let's see where we're at. That's exactly where it was. Cool. Pointed straight that way. Now chances are good that, so that was where it was before, which was good ignition timing, but since now we've actually changed the valve timing, we definitely want to make sure that the car is happy. We'll have to retime everything. In theory, we should be good, but we did just change everything. Now, one thing you want to do on this front seal, if you're doing it this way, there's little ears on here. You need to cut those off. And then one side is tapered, the other side is flat. Flat goes towards the front cover. Now it's got these little dinguses on it. We need to get those in the little holes in the pan here. Now I'm just kind of doing like a dry fit up here. I just want to make sure everything's going to go how I want it to. That seal is very, very tight. And it's pulled out the sides here. Well, I got it on. I ended up grabbing a different seal. The one that, the new one I got was rock hard. So I grabbed a used seal that was a little softer and threw that on there, and it seems to work just fine. Yeah, this new seal is really hard as a rock. The old one is pretty soft. 204, 204, they're the same part number, but that is hard as a rock. This one's got some give to it. I think we're going to go with an old used seal. I guarantee you, you're not supposed to do that. I think I'm ready. Now, I spritzed the chain down with some oil just so it's not quite as dry for as long. I think we're good to go. I'm going to put some sealant around everything just to kind of hold the gasket in place. I'm going to put sealant on the ends here and cross our fingers and hope that that is good. I think we'll do this part first and then we'll fight the cover on, cross our fingers. We're committing now. Not too worried about getting too much on there. Just a teeny amount, all I'm doing. To kind of hold everything in place. Put a little more here and here just in case. If it leaks, that's where it will be. Again, we decided this side is the better one to hook. Now I can start a bolt on it, and that'll kind of hold this side in place while I work on the other side. Look in here, make sure everything's in place. Feel for the nipples, make sure they're all where they belong, and they are. Oh. Breathe. Gotta remember to breathe. Whoops. There we go. The other side started. It's in place. Awesome. Cool. Gasket looks lined up everywhere else. And it is. That's what I was really worried about, was those bottom ones. You get these out of here. Alright. Sealant on both sides of the water pump, super thin. I don't like running a bunch of sealant all the time, but I have also had some bad luck lately when it comes to stuff sealing properly. Always want to make sure that water pump spins after you put it all back together. Now I think we can put the hub back on. Now I'm going to go ahead and drive on the hub. Put a little bit of oil on those threads just to kind of help it go in there and then get stuck. And you want to thread that in most of the way. Have a little bit sticking out. I like to coat the inside with a little bit of oil, coat the outside here with a little bit of oil where it goes through the seal. We don't want that to be dry. It'll kind of lock on the key. Thread this in. So we want to make sure that thing is threaded in pretty far. You don't want to bottom it out necessarily, okay? But we want it in as far as it'll go. You want to make sure the threads are clean. You go ahead and throw a little oil on them. Now we just tighten it on. Putting this on is kind of the same as taking it off. We just want to hold it and spin. Now it should go on easy. If it doesn't, especially at the beginning, you need to stop and look and see what's going on. This should not fight you going in. Now it got really hard all of a sudden. I'm going to give it just a little more. We want to make sure we get that gear set. Because remember, this hub is actually what's holding that gear in place. Feels good. And I just got to loosen it. go. Now, earlier, I had written down 1.5 inches to the outside of the hub, 1.5 inches to the outside of the hub. Excellent. And if you were afraid we were done with the sealant, fear not, we aren't. Put a little bit where that keyway is, okay? That'll help keep water from getting in there. And then just a little around. To install a stud, it's the same as removal. Well, I think that's going to do it for today, at least as far as this video is concerned. I'm going to go ahead and shit my brain. I'm going to go ahead and start putting the front dress together, maybe 15 minutes or so, torque down everything that has some sealant on it, and then just start plucking away at putting the car back together. Oh, put the fuel pump back on would probably be a good plan. So. All right, I got everything all put back together. It's nothing too exciting, it's just a reverse of disassembly. Now, I think we're ready to start it. I just want to see if it'll light off and run, and then beyond that, it's pretty much luxuries. Then after it's running for a while, we'll worry about actually timing it and all that stuff, so. Well, that was easy. And to think I was worried about it. That thing runs great. Now we're burping the coolant system. Ah! Why is it dripping everywhere? Lovely. Okay, I think we're good. I'm gonna clean up, move some stuff around, and we'll pull this outside. Okay, she's running pretty good. I'm gonna take her for a spin, and we'll see what happens when we get home. Just like last time, or every time, I'll stop here and there and look her over, so. Well, there we go. Just got back from our little drive, and she's running so good. Might want just a little bit more timing, but it is running so much better than it ever has before. And the question is it leaking? Well, it hasn't left a drop yet. While it hasn't left a drop yet, I know for a fact it is leaking ever so slightly. And annoyingly, it is not from where I was worried about it leaking. It appears to be leaking from the front seal of all things. Well, one thing I wasn't worried about. Now it's possible that that hub is worn down and that seal isn't quite grabbing it good enough. So we'll just have to wait and see. It might get better. I'm gonna run some motor perf through this. That tends to swell up seals and make that not leak quite so bad. We'll have to wait and see. But at the moment, pretty happy. She's running good. The question has been answered. Can you change the timing set without dropping the oil pan? Yes, with a big asterisk. It's a lot of damn work. If the oil pan gasket seal is too stiff, you may not be able to squish it in there good enough to get it to seal up. Luckily I had one that was a little softer. The real solution may be indeed pulling the motor so I can reseal everything properly. But again, this motor's pretty tired, so I don't know if it's even worth the effort. Anyway, all that, should it transpire, will be in a future video. Till then, check out this one right here. Be safe, and I'll catch you over there. Oh, like and subscribe if you haven't already.